if you're listening to this already, you know what time it is. It is time for the Jean Pod Van Dam cast. And it's a special edition. It's the Jean Pod Van Johnson Jean Pod Van Dam cast. And if you have been following along with us for the past couple weeks, we are now on episode 3 of the series.
Are we already halfway through? I can't even believe it.
Man, I can't believe it either. It's absolutely crazy. And to see, when I first got this on Amazon, I obviously watched it the first day that it came out.
Yes.
Watched all of it, binged it. I was sad, but also happy to see that it was at 6 episodes. I thought to myself, you know what? If they went any more than that, they're probably rolling the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Because too many people might be like, do I really want 12 episodes of a serious, goofy comedy all at once? I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure some people are like, you know what? I want more. Well, others were like, 6 was the perfect. Yeah, of course I do.
I mean, after The Tick came out and it was 6 episodes, I'm pretty sure it's just the new standard for streaming media shows.
Yeah. I think it's smart on their end. I know HBO sometimes does that depending on like the first season. Amazon seems to be doing that more often.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix kind of goes with like the 13.
Yeah, they normally do. I think it's just going to be the new standard for Amazon because, I mean, like 6 episodes every 6 months, it's not bad, and it's smart because they know that people tend to binge watch.
Right, exactly.
And it sucks binge watching 12 episodes and be like, whoop, see you next year. You know?
Yeah. You have to play the waiting game again, and that's just how it goes.
It's like having a personal trainer that forces portion control on you or something.
So yes, we are getting into episode 3 titled A Little Conversation About Trust. We open up in a bar and some guy walks in, starts talking to this random dude sitting there. We don't know who this is, about his shit week. And he's like, just basically, the factory sucks. He
dropped his lunch into the lamprey pit. So Eastern European sounding.
Yep. And to tie it all off, he broke his shoelace. Nice little pun there. And then we find out that dude was Philippe. He's not dead.
Nope.
He's not dead.
He's sitting
alive.
there with a neck brace.
He's sitting with a neck brace on. Yep. He sprained his neck. So he starts telling this dude about his shit week. And he's like, I sprained my neck. All my friends were killed by a time-traveling version of myself from the future.
Who didn't like time? Oh, man.
Yep.
Like Looper better than Time Cop?
Like Looper better than Time Cop?
Oh, man.
It was...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry you broke your shoelace. The guy's just staring at him.
Yeah, and he leaves. He just walks away. And then we get the beautiful big stamp Jean-Claude Van Johnson on it. Oh, man. Absolutely hilarious. I loved it. Philippe gets home. He puts his coat on the coat rack, but it falls off the wall. Turns around, gets scared shitless. These dudes are staying there, and the scene switches over, and they want him basically to describe the guy who blew up the factory. He's like, erase his beard and mustache. And they do, and he's like, so it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. And he's like, why would the greatest actor of all time kill all my friends?
Poor Philippe.
Yep, and so they decide to play a little bit of their own game. They grab Philippe by the neck, they take his neck brace off, and you hear the crack in his neck. He's like, ow! They shave his face, they shave his beard, they cut his hair so he looks like he's Van Damme. And they did a great job of making him look like what Van Damme would look like if he wasn't an action movie star. Like just that regular comb over kind of on his hair. Yeah, they give him a parted hair.
Like he was way sweatier than Jean-Claude Van Damme was the entire time.
Yeah. He had a mole on his face that was just ever so slightly different than Van Damme too.
He was great too. He's always hunched over. Really over the top.
Oh man, it was like at some points, honestly, like Van Damme does such a fucking good job with it. Like I forgot that was Van Damme. I thought it was just a dude parodying Van Damme, trying to play his twin.
I mean, you compared the show earlier to The Naked Gun, and in a lot of ways it really is because the acting is just so dry, but at the same time so wacky.
Right? Yeah. It is. It's weird. It does a nice homage to it. Like it's like a kiss to them. You know, it's just like it's not so Naked Gun, but it has those mirror moments with it.
Yes.
And I mean, now we're back with Van Damme and Vanessa. They're on set and they're talking about the next steps and what to do. Kind of flirting with one another. He's like, "Oh, hey, I told you I found that microchip." She's like, "Yeah, you put it in your pocket. I did all the work." And he's like, "Yeah, but I also walked away with it." Next scene, we are filming, and Van Damme's in a church with what he thinks is N-word Jim. He takes off his hood and he's like, "Who the fuck are you? Where's Victor?" And the director tells him he fired Victor. And
he fired him because he had listened to Jean-Claude Van Damme. He realized it was insensitive to have a person named N-word Jim, so he fired the actor.
Yeah, so he fired him. He's like, "Yeah, but he's Victor. He's a black guy. Like, he still fits in." He's like, "That's what makes it even more insensitive." And he's just like, "So we got this guy from one of the big backers of the Friend or whatever from China." He's like, "He's a legend in Thailand." And the guy's like, "I'm Chinese."
It's so great, like more poking fun at Hollywood, because that's such a big thing right now, is having Chinese actors and cameos that have nothing to do. Like, they're just there to attract a Chinese audience.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. And it's kind of funny, like, they talk about like all the whitewashing that obviously goes on in Hollywood and whatnot, and this movie kind of in a way pokes fun at that, or this TV series, especially like you just said, kind of when people are like, "Oh no, we got to be so politically diverse." Look, we hired an Asian actor as the sidekick. It's just like,
exactly. Them totally missing the mark, not understanding the problem in the first place.
Right, yeah, and it doesn't help, like. With the Great Wall movie, how it was all made in China or whatever, but they hired Matt Damon to be the lead,
the
and
hero,
people were like, "What?
The Great White Hope."
Yep, the Great White Hope,
just like
man.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah, which is funny because it was like I made mention of that like at a panel I was doing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and stuff, and we were all talking about that, like how with Marvel, a lot of these characters are finally starting to fit in, and it's not just like, "Oh, hey, you don't feel forced with it." You have some good moments, like Black Panther, for instance, now that he's getting his own movie. But I brought that up, but, people were like, "Yeah, and that was, it was all a bunch of people from making it in China, and they wanted a white guy to play." I was just like, what's that say? I mean, but that's the thing, though. Still, even the Chinese want Americans to watch this movie, and they're thinking, well, we got to put a white guy that they know into it in order to want to watch this.
And it didn't work
at all. It didn't work out at all. No.
Well, the movie was it looked like such a stinker.
Yeah. Well, in the trailer, when the CGI for like the Dragon Beast thing wasn't even completely done.
Yeah.
And that looked pretty bad. But anyway, sorry to get like a little
sidetracked.
Yeah, sidetracked and kind of sort of political there. Thanks, N-word Jim. We see the bad guys show up to the scene in search of the microchip. And Tom Sawyer and Vanessa are talking about dreaming big when her little dog, her little chihuahua in her lap, starts going crazy at Philippe. He's walking by and he's all like shambling. And she's like, "Oh, hey, JC." And the dog's going crazy. And she's like, "That's just JC, honey." And the dog goes to where Jean-Claude is filming at. And, it's like, cut. And grabs the dog and he's like all loving on it. And
the
stuff.
dog's trying to give a Lassie warning.
Yep, exactly. Smart dog.
And
he's like, "Let's take a break. I need to take a shower. I've got some ink on my finger." And he shows his finger to the camera, and there's just like a little dot of ink on his finger. And I thought that was pretty funny too. So Van Damme goes to his trailer where he sees Philippe inside. He's like, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." And he like grabs his fist and gets into a karate stance. And Philippe says something along the lines of,
"Yep.
He told me not to trust your hero." Oh, man. He ends up telling the guys that he's there with that he's in the trailer. Van Damme kicks him and the gun out of his hand. Vanessa takes out the one guy going to the trailer. And now Van Damme's walking out with the microchip. He's walking to the steamboat set. They're just setting up for it, and like the director's like, "Hey, Van Damme, what are you doing here? This is just setting up. We're not ready. Tomorrow's when we're gonna film." And Van Damme starts to get into a fight with the guys, and the director has no idea what's going on. He's like, "Roll, just roll." So he's fighting the bad guys, and the director tells all the stunt guys to get in there now too. So he's fighting the bad guys, trying to make sure none of the stunt guys get hurt either while he's fighting them, which I thought was really well done with how they did it.
It was a fun action sequence, definitely.
It wasn't like Van Damme was just throwing the stunt guys in the way to get killed or anything like that. No, he was making sure, even if he was using them, that they weren't going to get hurt a lot. So I thought that was pretty cool. Van Damme jumps up to a balcony and starts fighting a dude up there. They're getting another shot in him. He kicks the dude off the balcony, and the guy impales himself on a box crate down below. And Vanessa's like, hey, you got to help out. And Louise is like, I don't get involved. You know that. And she's like, well, you already are. It's too late. So while JC and another guy are fighting with a gun at the time, and one of the other big baddies comes out to shoot Van Damme, Louise puts a coat on, grabs the dude's plastic butter knife off of his bagel tray, and slices the guy in the stomach.
Totally disembowels
him.
Like the one lady.
And Van Damme shoots the other guy, and the director's like, fuck yes, this is awesome. And like the assistant director or whoever that was is just like, these men are dead.
He vapes in her face.
Yeah, he vapes in her face. Yep. Oh, man.
Big old rip of that vape rig.
Yep. Oh, it was hilarious. Next scene, Van Damme tells Vanessa he accidentally got Victor fired because of the whole Edward Jim offense line. And
you would have thought she'd be mad.
No, she
thought it was funny.
Laughs, yep. And they're doing this while they're covering up the dead bodies. They're burying them. And she asks him, why did you stand me up in Bali? And he said he lied to her about the emu farm being there. She's like, where is it really? And he shrugs, and then he's like, wait, what is that? And it's someone trying to start up a car. And that's Philippe trying to start up, saying, like, hey, if I don't go back, the main boss will shoot me. And JC's like, well, I better. He goes off just a little bit different from what Philippe's voice sounds like. And then
just layers upon layers.
We next see Jane back in her office, and a guy comes out of nowhere, and he's talking to her. Basically, he's like, Van Damme's a fuck up. You need to get this under control. He killed 3 people on camera. It's in the dailies. And she's like, we'll talk about it. He's like, no, you need to go to Bulgaria and fix this. So next up, Van Damme shows up to the boss's house, and as Philippe, he's trying to act like him. He's like, boss, you want to see me? and the boss is dragging, and he's like, I want my microchip back, Van Damme. And he's like, I'm Philippe.
Don't know who this Van Damme person is. He sounds very intelligent and handsome.
Yep. He's just like, you knock off the act. You don't even look like Philippe. He's like, Van Damme is his favorite actor. And then he's talking about, he's like, tomorrow night we trade. And he's like, we have a gala tomorrow night. And he hands him an invitation filled with glitter. And he's like, oh, I see this Van Damme will be there.
Oh, goodness.
And Dragon's just like, bring the chip or you will never see your little friend again. And then we get a little poke fun at Amazon itself right here. He's like, Alexei, please play the kidnapping video. And it's like, I'm sorry, pardon? Alexei, please play the kidnapping video. I'm sorry, pardon? Alexei, please play the kidnapping video. And then it shows Louise being beaten up and kidnapped. And so Jean-Claude agrees to be there. And the dragon's just like, well, hey, Jean-Claude, one more thing. You're crushing it in the movies, the dailies. You're killing it. And Van Damme goes, thank you. And then it ends. Oh man. So yeah, that was it for episode 3 of Van Johnson. Absolutely hilarious,
yes,
man.
Only getting better and better.
I already know what your favorite part is, but tell me what your favorite part is, man, for episode 3.
Just everything with Philippe in general, I would say.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Him playing Philippe just is absolutely amazing.
I was so happy they brought him back.
Me too, dude. Me too. When I saw episode 3, and that's what opened it up, I was screaming with laughter. I just couldn't believe it. I thought he killed him, and he's like, he sprained my neck. and the voice, just the voice that Van Damme does with it.
I know. He had so much dialogue too.
So hilarious. So hilarious. And it gets better and better. This series just gets better and better. So yeah, that's it, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it as well. Please let us know your thoughts. You can do so on Twitter, just at Podbros Network, or find us on Facebook as well. Just facebook.com/Podbros if you want to do it that way. Also, if I didn't mention it before, patreon.com/Podbros. If you feel like donating and you love us like you love Van Damme, truly appreciate those that already do. Or go to Amazon, amazon.com. Thanks, Amazon Prime, right here. See this connection? See this little connection?
Yeah, it's all connected, baby.
Go to podbros.com, scroll down, hit our Amazon link. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out tremendously. And thank you for those that are already doing it. So I think that's about it. I am John.
And I am Jeff.
And you have been listening to another episode of the Jean Pod Van Johnson special edition of the Jean Pod Van Damcast. I am sorry about your shoelace.